Hi guys, today I'm gonna share with you the news that a few famous comedians have likely turned Yang Gang. So that includes Hasan Minhaj, Ronny Chieng, and Trevor. So this is an article by NBC News. This is written by Kimmy Yan, talking about Hasan Minhaj. Recently highlighted, the importance of Asian voters, and then he talked about how he liked Andrew Yang as the presidential candidate. So this is from his latest episode, Patriot Act. Okay, so he addressed how Asian Americans, the fastest growing racial group in the country, have one of the lowest voter turnout rates. It's below 50%. And then the politicians' failure to reach out to the group is one of the key culprits, among other issues, including culture and language barriers. So I'm going to play it very quick.
A lot of us don't feel spoken to, but we can't be ignored as a political force. That's why tonight I want to focus on Asian American voters, because despite our growing numbers, politicians and the media ignore us, even when we're running for president.
Andrew Yang has a tremendous center of gravity. He's getting ignored for some weird reason.
Andrew Yang, this giving, I don't know much about his platform.
Andrew Yang, who, suffered underneath a media blackout for months.
In the last debate, he ultimately received less than 7 minutes of airtime.
I didn't even know he was running.
I think he's just kidding here. We talked a lot about Andrew Yang's media blackout before, and you can refer to one of the earliest videos. And so Hasan Minhaj is just re-emphasizing here, despite the growing numbers, the politicians and media keep ignoring us. The Asian people to them, Asian people are like a non-factor, which should be changed. And then he listed the facts.
I saw him next to Joe Biden on TV and I thought it was Gran Torino. For real, Andrew Yang is one of the first Asian Americans to make a real run for president. But even though he's polling higher than other candidates, Yang gets the least amount of speaking time at the debates, and he is constantly left off of graphics that he should be on. Something here is clearly off. MSNBC.
Yeah, you see here, it says 10 candidates, and they included 9, excluding Yang, and replaced with this MSNBC logo. That's just ridiculous. What are they trying to fool people about? That's really worth thinking harder about.
NBC has left Yang off graphics at least a dozen times. How has NBC allowed him to go this underreported? He's a presidential candidate, not internal sexual misconduct.
If you let him out once or twice, or even 3-4 times, and then you apologize, I'm okay with that. We're all people. People make mistakes, and as long as you acknowledge that and you corrected mistakes. But come on, a dozen times? I think it's even 15 or 16 times. MSNBC or other news just left him off the graphics. Despite the fact he's polling higher than some of the listed candidates. That's just insane. That's just completely biased. And is this racism as the question, right? Is he being excluded because he's an Asian running for president?
So if you don't know a ton about Yang's platform, here's a quick taste.
The 44-year-old entrepreneur who made millions running a test prep company had zero political experience, but his campaign took off with his proposal to give every American adult $12,000 a year.
His supporters are known as the Yang Gang.
Yang Gang, yeah. I want 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month, I want 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month. Let's get this bread, freedom, give it, and
I love the idea of a rapper bragging about making $1,000 a month. He's like, who needs a Maybach? I'm making $33 a day. I'll be real. I'm conflicted about Yang. On one hand, he's the Asian guy running for president. Amazing. But on the other hand, sometimes he goes a little too Asian.
And even more amazing is the fact that he's polling at least 4% nationwide, right? In 4 of the qualifying polls. I mean, there are other polls that where he polled even higher, but were not considered qualifying polls. Yeah, that's really amazing, and that's on condition that he hasn't done much TV advertising, unlike people, billionaires like Tom Steyer or Bloomberg, who just showered a bunch of money, a ton of money, like nuclear bombs, and then immediately get 5 or 6%. But that's probably close to the limit. I mean, that's capping off, right? I mean, people already know you, Bloomberg, right? People either like you or dislike you, and I think Bloomberg even has the worst, preferable to unpreferable ratio. Yeah.
Now, I am Asian, so I know a lot of doctors.
The opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math.
I'm going to be the first president to use PowerPoint at the State of the Union.
Fuck that! I'm the PowerPoint guy. Dude, look, I don't get why he doubles down. He has a hat that says math on it, and then he has a pin that also says math on it.
Well, I think the reason he doubles down on this Asian stereotypes is actually because he has done the math, right? He has already thought harder about it. He knew that, it's better for him to stereotype himself as an Asian candidate, so that later on there's, people just don't have that much more to attack him about. I think that's actually might be a very nice strategy at the end. But of course, some people were kind of, feel problematic with the approach.
And I know that because he wore it when I interviewed him for this episode.
Yeah, so MASH stands for Make America Safe.
I remember growing up as a kid, calling out to my brother and my mom anytime I saw an Asian of any kind on TV. I used to watch those kung fu movies on Saturday afternoons avidly. I still freaking love those things.
Growing up as an Asian American, how did politicians and presidential candidates speak to Asian Americans?
I have to be honest, I don't recall them ever actually saying anything specifically.
Like, did you ever...
So that's actually the truth, right? Is, being a president is never ever being on the menu, right, of Asian American people.
Have the moment where you felt spoken to as a member of the Asian American community, where you're like, wow, that's my guy?
I think I grew up like a lot of other Asian American kids of our generation, where my parents certainly didn't emphasize American politics that much, and they didn't present it as something that my brother and I should necessarily be trying to get into ourselves.
Why do you think many Asian Americans have found politics to not be relevant to their lives?
I think for most children of immigrants, our mission is to do well in school and get good grades and then get a good job and make some money. And politics doesn't necessarily fit into that vision.
What do you think the biggest issue is for Asian Americans?
And another reason, I think, is because there's barely been any real, or never ever been any real Asian candidate who have a real chance of becoming president before Andrew Yang, right? And so that's why, Asian people are kind of, maybe one reason why Asian people are not so motivated, because they feel politically disengaged, right? It's, do our votes even matter? Who will be there to, advocate for everyone, including Asian people?
American voters in this upcoming election.
I'm a college student, so I'm just thinking about paying off my student loans.
Kind of worry about the economy, immigration, to help us for the small business.
What's most important to you as an Asian American voter in 2020?
Representation, really. We see Crazy Rich Asians last year. It's going to be great. I think representation's great. So more props to you, man.
So are you going to be voting for him?
Well, we'll see where we're going. Yeah, I want to know all the candidates first. All right.
Do you think $1,000 a month in every American's hands would grow the economy?
I'm actually very iffy on that one. I'm not sure about universal income at the moment.
I appreciate this level of honesty.
Me too,
I'm going to be honest.
I'm gonna put it out there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it out there.
He's keeping it real. I feel.
Yeah, so I really like this part where they Hasan just interviewed a bunch of people, Asian people, and listened to their needs, right? I think this should be done to every possible demographic, right? So that the politician will actually know the real needs of people instead of being just advocating what he or she thinks is important, right? Like climate change. I mean, it is important, but when you have a billionaire coming out just running on climate change, that's not really. Not everyone would feel attached to that. Whereas Andrew Yang's policy, I think, he started from the basic needs, right? 78% of people living paycheck to paycheck. 50% of people couldn't come up with the $500 emergency bill. And when you put these financial resources in the hands of average American people, then they would, have this economic boost of their throat, and then they can start to think, the climate change is important, right, for our children. Otherwise, they would be like, I can't even pay the bills. The penguins can wait. Yeah, and I also appreciate the last guy who had this candid answer about, I'm still considering all the possibilities, right? I'm still listening to the candidates and see what they have to offer, right? Even if, Andrew Yang is in front of him, he's not, he's being honest. He doesn't say, I just vote for you because I'm Asian and I agree with your policy. He's still shopping around. That's completely fine.
I feel like you have had to have an uphill battle. Your mic getting cut off, them getting your name wrong a lot of the time.
Yeah, what's up with that?
John Yang living his best life, crowd surfing on the campaign trail.
Can you imagine if they just screwed up another candidate's name? Like, would they ever say like Frank Biden or Sandra Warren? And I was like, that never would happen.
Do you know who he is?
There's also an event where Chris Wallace addressed Andrew Yang as Andrew Wang. that's kind of similar to the mistake here, John Yang. When you interview this person, when you report on a person running for president, and you should be able to pronounce his name correctly, right? Would you say Sanders Warren? That's just insane. A lot of disrespect.
You know who this is?
Yeah, I know who that is.
Would you be interested in the nation's first Asian American president?
Shit, hell yeah, I'm Asian, right?
So you would vote for that person for sure?
Yeah.
Like, no doubt?
Yes.
Well, you're looking at him. This is
No way.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
He's been doing literally every interview and press outlet he possibly could.
Yang Gang. He's in the Yang Gang.
How are you?
Not a plant.
Really
not a plant.
Yang Gang.
Yang Gang. Look at that.
Yang Gang, right?
Okay.
Yang Gang.
So now it's, a lot of Yang Gang, Asian people. Actually, I think there's still a significant portion of Asian people are not currently supporting him for various reasons. But yeah.
As an Asian American voter, have you felt spoken to?
Not particularly, I guess. Mainly because I have certain concerns about certain policies that he has.
That Andrew Yang has?
Yeah.
I had an issue when you were like, I'm Asian, I know a lot of doctors. I feel like you're perpetuating a lot of stereotypes that I just don't feel comfortable you saying that.
What's happening right now is pretty Asian. You're saying you're disappointed in him.
Yeah.
Look, I'll tell you what. If Yang wins, those two are definitely not getting their $1,000.
Yeah, so these two are being honest, right, about the kind of didn't expect Yang to be so stereotyping, right? But like I said, this actually might be a good strategy for Andrew Yang. And the famous line, right? The opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. And now the math is the acronym that stands for Make America Think Harder. Okay, and so it's really exciting to see that Hasan is turning Yang Gang. And then what about Trevor Noah?
When they're sick of being yelled at by Bernie, it turns out he's got a pretty interesting story.
His parents immigrated from Taiwan. His father, a physicist. His mother has a master's in math and statistics. Yang grew up in Schenectady, New York.
I was a very nerdy Chinese kid, played piano and had braces.
He studied economics and political science at Brown and went to law school at Columbia.
Yang made millions helping Americans study harder for standardized tests. As CEO of Manhattan Prep, he then founded Venture for America, an organization helping entrepreneurs create jobs in cities like Baltimore and Detroit. And Yang says it helped push him into politics.
He was named a presidential ambassador of entrepreneurship by the Obama administration and a champion of change.
Okay, wait, what?
Yeah, so Trevor Noah actually did a lot of homework, right? So he dig into Yang's history and made this special show on Andrew Yang. So that's actually, I think that's actually telling us probably Trevor Noah is already Yang Gang, but he's just so close to announcing it, right? So close to endorsing Andrew Yang. And this is also one thing I like about Andrew Yang is that he didn't talk about the recognition from Obama so much, right? You barely hear him talk about it, like not on the debates or anything. Unlike Cory Booker, right? So Cory Booker was like, "Oh, I'm one of the only two Rhodes Scholar on the stage," and then there's a surge on Google search on what is Rhodes Scholar. So Andrew Yang instead just present his solutions, right? He's a problem solver. He's a serial entrepreneur, so he has a lot of innovative ideas that he want to bring to the American people, right? And we already saw that during the CNN debate. That's what I like about CNN moderators, is that they actually bring the topic of universal basic income center stage, right? So they had multiple candidates talk about their thoughts, their opinions on universal basic income. And like Andrew said, he doesn't have to win. He'll consider it a win if other people can start to adopt his ideas.
I didn't know that. Yang was Obama's ambassador of entrepreneurship. I didn't know that. Like, why does he never talk about that at the debates? Yeah, because if you have anything to do with Obama, you got to bring that shit up every time you got a chance. Every other candidate does it. I was his vice president. I work in his cabinet. If you squint, I kind of look like him. So Andrew Yang is a lawyer who made millions of dollars as an entrepreneur. But what got his presidential campaign noticed was not how much money he has, but how much money he was willing to give away.
He announced in 2017 that barely moved the needle. Then he went on the Joe Rogan Experience in February of 2019. He talked about his universal basic income plan, which would give every American citizen $1,000 a month, and suddenly the mentions of him skyrocketed.
Tonight, free money for every American adult for every month, no strings attached.
Yeah, so Andrew Yang was referred to by the media as a random man running for president. So a year ago, nobody knew about him, and people would consider him running as a joke. But look at it. He's now comfortably making every debate stage. And he starts to, gain respect, and, the Yang Gang is growing every day. Now, even those famous people like Trevor Noah and, Hasan and Ronny Chieng, these comedians, they are joining Yang Gang. the question is why?
Presidential candidate Andrew Yang's big idea, give every American adult $1,000 a month.
If you've heard anything about me in my campaign, you've heard something like this. There's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month.
Yes, when Andrew Yang started running for president, no one cared. But then, when they found out he was going to give out free money, all of a sudden everyone knew his name. And that's the magic of money. It brings people out of the woodwork. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, you win the lottery, you'll get family you didn't know existed. In fact, next time there's an earthquake emergency, right, the personnel should just walk around the rubble like, I'm giving away free cash. People will dig themselves out of the rubble like, did someone say free cash?
Yeah, Trevor Noah is just making fun out of it, but I think he is supporting Andrew Yang's idea, right? Because this is a really progressive idea. It's really innovative idea to have people share the bountiness, right? The financial success of our economy, the technology advances, right? In the midst of this fourth industrial revolution, because if all these high-tech companies are paying zero and near zero in taxes while they're automating away millions of jobs, then it's going to be problematic, right? And yeah, so that's Trevor Noah, and let me see.
So, under universal basic income, or as Andrew Yang calls it, the freedom dividend, his proposal is that every single American over the age of 18 would receive a check for $1,000 every month. No strings attached. Every American. Even Bill Gates. Yeah. And like, what is Bill Gates going to do with a check for $1,000? Just be like, great, I can dip this in water and use it as a wet nap. Thank you, U.S. government. Thank you.
So some people have problem of giving money to these billionaires, Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos. But Andrew Yang's arguing basically, his plan, this of value-added tax, will take away billions of dollars from these people, right? Hundreds of thousands of millions or billions of dollars from them, from their business. Then it'd be okay to send them $1,000 a month to remind them that they're American. And plus, he said, knowing Jeff, he probably wouldn't take it, right? Because his plan of freedom dividend is opt-in, so you don't have to. Or if you think, you're rich enough, you can opt in, but you can give away the money, right? Donate to your favorite charities. I think that would actually be very, very nice to society.
So that's the policy that made Andrew Yang famous. And it turns out there's a lot more where that came from.
No other Democratic candidate has more policy stances on their website than Yang. From core issues like the freedom dividend to more obscure ones targeting airlines and robocalling.
Some of his other policy proposals: Medicare for all, gun safety, and even free marriage counseling for all.
Yang says that he would pardon every prison inmate convicted of nonviolent marijuana offenses if he gets elected.
And Andrew Yang says if he were elected, he would promote transparency by declassifying information about Air Force Area 51.
So if I become privy to information about aliens or Area 51 or anything that I am able to share, I will share it.
Okay. That's super exciting. If Andrew Yang becomes president, he's gonna tell all of us what's in Area 51. That is so dope! That is so dope! Because we get to learn about aliens and Rudy Giuliani gets to meet his family. Wow! Everybody wins!
Yeah, I really like the fact that Trevor Noah not only talked about Andrew Yang's freedom dividend, but also a lot of his key policies, right? So he's unlike other people who's only focused on Andrew Yang's key policy, freedom dividend, and make him a one policy candidate. He's actually saying, oh, look at this guy, he has so many innovative ideas. And yeah, so people should look him up.
So that's Andrew Yang, a businessman turned politician who wants to show us the money and the aliens. Oh, And there's one other thing you should know about him. He's probably going to spend his $1,000 a month on the swear jar.
If Donald Trump's the scissors, I'm the rock.
There's a lot of bullshit around it too.
I call bullshit.
And I should really do it.
That's right. I did some math.
Shit.
Challenge accepted.
You are getting and so because you're getting you're just like, hey, I don't want to care. And I want to undo that. I want to you. And so if you want to help me you, then like vote me into office.
What? I want to you? I gotta say, that's a weird presidential pitch. But it would make a really original R&B song, you know? It's like, if I had known your bed was a mattress on the ground, boy, oh, I wanna you.
Yeah, this is really hilarious. So Andrew Yang earlier said this. If you want me to you have to elect me to the office, right? Yeah, and Trevor Noah is making fun of that. Last but not least, let's hear what Ronny Chieng has to say about Asian men running for president.
Work. Asian people just want things to work. We're not distracted by the spectacle of show business. We just want things to work, so we give it to you straight. You can trust us to tell you the truth. Ugly truths, but truths nonetheless. All right, like, yo, white people. Yo, Bohemian Rhapsody sucks. It's an undanceable song. Kindly stop chanting it at parties. If you must, keep it to your shower. Okay? No hatred. There's no hatred here. It's just information. I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm just letting you know it's the situation. Okay? We give it both ways. We give it both ways. Okay? Yo, black people. Yo, a little noise in the movie theater. Okay? Again, no hatred. There's no hatred here. It's just solutions. That's all we offer, both your people. Solutions. Nothing more, nothing less. We need an Asian president, man. That's all we need, yeah. Man or woman. Man or woman. Get that Asian president in the White House. We will fix this place in a week. I promise you. Give us a solid 8 days, you will see results. Because we don't care, we just want things to work. Imagine all the Asian people in government just going down the list of broken things in America, fixing it one by one, with no agenda, just pure logic. Right? Just going down the list, just going, yeah, that's fine, that works, that's okay, that's kind of okay, that's broken, EPA is broken, Medicare is broken. Do your job, just slapping people in the face. Yeah, government shutdown? Yo, there's no government shutdown with Asian people in charge. We don't shut down for anything. We don't shut down for Christmas. Yeah. Do you understand? We work through public holidays. Any city in America, when it's 3 a.m. and you're hungry, where do you go? You go to Chinatown. That's where you go. That's right, because things are delicious, affordable, and open. We don't shut down for anything. Thanksgiving means nothing to me. Do you understand how meaningless the concept of Thanksgiving is to me? Screw turkey, it's dry. All right, I'd rather fix healthcare than eat turkey. How about that? Is there someone you want in charge? Please, vote for the Asians when you get a chance. And think of how inspirational that would be if we have the first Asian president. What an inspirational message that would send to Asian children everywhere in America. If we have the first Asian president, you could finally go up to Asian children anywhere in America and you can say, hey, listen, buddy, you don't have to be just a neurosurgeon. Thank you, vote for the Asians.
So he's really hilarious. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, all these, it's so exciting to see all these comedians, famous comedians, they turn yang gang. And notice that an Asian man on the debate stage is actually from an underrepresented group, right? there has never been any Asian people in the White House. So yeah, and in fact, Andrew Yang is one of the only seven candidates that will appear on the debate stage, and he's the only one with color. Of course, if Tulsi qualifies and she, decide to change her mind, then she'll be another, but we don't see that yet. All right, thanks.